Hey everybody, good morning. We are at the once canceled, once postponed Sea Otter Classic 2021 edition. It's a beautiful day out at Laguna Seca Raceway, and we're going to just kick off our overview of what we see at the Sea Otter by walking into the Continental Tire booth and look at a couple of historical bikes from the Marin Bicycle Museum, which is also doubles as the Mountain Bike Hall of Fame. Come on in, have a look at these two new bikes. So hey, now we're down at the Look Cycles booth. Look, of course, is a legacy French brand made famous in the Tour de France, Bernardino, everything, the pedals, the bikes. We're here with Brad. Brad's going to talk us through the bikes, look a little bit at the Corima wheels, which they also bring into America, and then of course we're going to end at the pedals, which of course remain the best road pedals there are out there for me. So Brad, take it away, tell us about Look Bikes.
Perfect. Thanks for having us today. We're going to start here with our 765 Gravel. This is one of the newest bikes in the line. It was Look's first foray into gravel cycling. Bike came out at the last Sea Otter, so about 1.5 years ago. Is a wholly focused gravel bike, designed from the ground up as a gravel bike. So no corners were cut. It was purposely designed to be one of the best gravel bikes out there. Features capacity for up to 4 water bottles on the bike, 3 in the main triangle, 1 below the top tube or down tube. From a comfort standpoint, we've got 2 flex points built into the rear triangle. It's these kind of red painted areas here. Offers a really great ride to the bike. Super comfortable on long rides, but with a large bottom bracket, really still maximizes power transfer to the pedals.
What's the price point on this thing?
These start, we have 2 different levels. So we've got our RS frame level, which is our top end layup and carbon. RS bikes can run up to 6 to 7K. Entry level bikes are non-RS frame. They start at about 3,000.
Great. Okay.
So nice price range there.
We actually tested one about 1.5 years ago, and we were honestly kind of surprised because the whole Europe's interpretation of gravel bikes has been a history. It's a brief history, and it's been a little bit rocky as they try to get their arms around what American version gravel bikes are. But honest to goodness, it was about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah,
this was like one of the bikes that made our best of list for gravel bikes, because we really came away surprised that the French, of all people, would figure out how to understand American gravel. And so it's got the Look name in terms of this great dynasty of road racing, but they really did a very impressive job. I have to say, first person, it was a solid gravel bike. We were surprised. So let's go over and look at the other bike over here.
We'll roll over here.
But we still have to dance with 2000s our own.
So as we transition around, we get to our 785 line of bikes. Our 785 line of bikes is really our focused climbing platform. It's our lightest frame in the line. We do have it available in V-brake as a special order.
In what brake?
Or rim brake, not V-brake, sorry.
Rim brake? What the heck's a rim brake, Brad?
Yeah, exactly.
Does it come with wood rims, that model?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Everything, though, is transitioned from the Look line to disc brakes here in the US. So if you do want a rim brake bike, you're going to have to special order it, but we do still have those available. For those that are really looking to build the lightest bike possible. It is a really great, versatile, all-around bike. While it is the lightest, it does perform great in all conditions. Hop on it, race a crit on it, it's going to be perfect for that as well. Going uphill, there's not a whole lot better.
Right.
In particular, from our line, there's nothing that tops it. This is available in RS and non-RS platforms as well. Non-RS bikes start around 3,500. RS platforms go up 10K plus.
Yeah.
When they get fully decked out in Corima wheels and top-end kits.
And what do we got over here?
This is probably what we consider our flagship bike in the line. It's the newest in the pure road line. It's our 795 Blade and 795 Blade RS. So again, this is an RS, non-RS option. Really focused on going fast. It's our aero platform, and it's designed to go fast and take podiums.
Yeah.
This was really born out of our 795 Aerolite platform. 795 Aerolite platform was fantastic. It had a lot of frame integration, however. cutting seat posts, proprietary stems,
Yeah.
proprietary BB and crank. We really refocused to make the bike more user-friendly.
Great.
You can use a standard crank in it. It's a BB386 bottom bracket. Telescoping seat post now, so you're not having to cut a seat mass. It is still a proprietary stem, but that's just because we need to manage internal routing.
Yeah.
A steer tube on it's kind of squared off on each side.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It allows housing to run down on each side of it.
Right.
So to do that, we do have to use our stem on it. But it's available in several lengths and in different angles. So trying to make it as user-friendly as possible. These bikes, again, non-RS level start 3,500, and I think our top end peaks out just under 13.
You guys are doing a great job with the lower price points for what we're getting.
We've really tried to push into that lower price point, and one of the things that's really unique to us is our build kits. No matter what the price point is, they're pure build kits. So if you're buying an Ultegra bike, it's Ultegra shifters, Ultegra brakes, Ultegra chain, Ultegra cassette, cranks, derailleur. Everything on it, you're going to find a pure build kit on it.
Right.
It's not an Ultegra build with just an Ultegra derailleur and down spec parts elsewhere. It's through and through pure build kits. So
and on the higher end bikes, of course, now you just maybe start, if you're building a bike, you might start finding more of the Corima wheels, which are kind of pretty boutique-y. I mean, in America, they aren't so well known in America. We know them from looking at the races, but Look's now bringing in Corima wheels as well. So
yeah, for Corima we do a full line of wheels, a couple different price points, different styles. One of the things that's unique for Corima on the roadside, no matter what price point or level wheel you get, the rim is identical. So all of the technology from the rims carries over from your quote-unquote entry level all the way up to your MCC. So our entry level wheels would be our WS series. Our WS series uses an aluminum hub, standard J-bend spoke. From there you go to our WS Plus, which is what you see here. Our WS Plus wheels go to a carbon spoke or carbon hub shell, straight pull spoke. And then you go all the way to our top end, our MCC. These things are pretty wild. It's a carbon fiber body hub, carbon spokes. Spokes are actually bonded into the wheel, so they're not fully in tension. So it's a super actually bomb-proof wheel. People get concerned about it, but because the spokes aren't pulling against each other and they're not in tension, it makes a really nice, straight, true wheel. Super durable wheel.
Wow.
And it's one of the lightest wheels you're going to find anywhere. These in a 32 millimeter depth with a tubular rim come in about 1030 for
no kidding,
for the weight, so 1,030 grams. Our MCC family is available in a disc brake or a rim brake option.
What brake option?
Disc or rim? Yeah, exactly. Our WS Plus is actually only available in a rim brake option with this carbon hub. We haven't gotten it to where we're comfortable and confident enough in the durability to have a carbon hub that uses a traditional spoke with a disc brake. So this is limited to rim brake. At the WS level, we do have a disc brake option there because it uses that aluminum hub and super solid.
Those made in France?
Yeah, every one of the Corima wheels is made in France.
No kidding.
We make the hubs, make the rims. The only one that we don't use our hub on is actually our gravel wheel, which is the newest in the family. We use a DT Swiss hub on those. It's tried and true. The demands of riding off-road and gravel are just higher. We wanted to give something to riders that they're going to be 100% confident from day one.
Does Corima have their own factory apart from the Look factory in France?
Yeah, Corima's factory is in L'Oreal, France. The Look factories are in Nevers. So 2 different locations. The Corima stuff's wholly focused in L'Oreal.
Just wheels,
and just focused on wheels. Been around for quite some time. Came out of the aerospace engineering or aerospace industry. Transitioned into the bicycle side of things. Made frames for a while. Really focused on track wheels.
So I remember the Corima track frames.
Yeah, the
yellow ones, right?
Yeah, back in the 90s.
Yeah.
TT frames for a while too before regulations went replaced by ICU.
Oh, I forgot about that.
UCI. So,
well, that's great. We're gonna wrap it. Go ahead.
As we walk over to pedals, I'll grab some
pedals.
cutaways from the rim, and I can show you some proprietary tech for us too.
795.
No doubt what Look name is most famous for probably is the pedals, in terms of they literally revolutionized the clipless pedal industry and created it back in the mid 80s. So super famous name. It is the legacy brand for clipless pedals as far as I'm concerned. And there's a whole different range of them that Brad will tell us about now.
Yeah, I mean, Zap really hit on it. It's a legacy brand. We were the first brand to created the first automatically releasing clipless pedal. So clipless pedals had been around in one variation or another prior to our first pedal, the PP86. The kicker with it is to get in and out, you actually had to reach down, and there was a mechanism on the pedal that you locked it and unlocked it. So
wow.
If you were crashed, you were stuck to your bike. There was no automatic release to it. Look evolved out of the ski industry. They took the technology from the ski bindings, had some really passionate cyclists in the group, and took that technology and developed the first clipless road pedals, releasable clipless road pedals with the PP86. That technology is carried on today. It's evolved several times over. We're now operating in the Keel line of pedals. So we have 3 different options in the Keel line of pedals. So it starts with we call it our Comfort series. It's our Classic Plus, really focused on your entry-level riders, people just getting into clipless. Not quite riding the high volume as some of the other riders and more seasoned riders, but really just a great entry-level pedal. Get people introduced to the brand, get people introduced to clipless pedals, the feel of them. Technology is the same on all the pedals from a cleat standpoint. From there we move up to we call it our Fondo line of pedals. It's our KO2 Max line. So this comes in 2 variations, KO2 Max, KO2 Max Carbon. As you can guess, it's a difference in material there. The carbon pedal uses a carbon fiber body, where the standard uses a composite body. This is a little bit more traditional style pedal. It uses a coil spring mechanism, really similar to what you'll find on a lot of our competitors' pedals. Really familiar for a lot of riders, so people coming to look for the first time from other brands, this is a lot of times where they start because it is really familiar. As we step away from there, we get into our most unique line of pedals for the roadside. It's our Blade. Our Blade line of pedals actually forgoes the coil leaf spring system and uses a carbon fiber, we call it a blade, but it's almost like a leaf spring. And the way that works is as you step in, the back mechanism opens up, and it's a little hard to see because it's pretty small, but the blade itself actually flexes and functions as a leaf spring there. And that's how the mechanism works for entry and exit. Super aerodynamic pedals, very, very light because we're pulling the metal out of them with the coil leaf spring. Really high performance pedals.
Popular in the peloton.
Super popular in the peloton, and one of the reasons they are so popular goes back to our design ethos with pedals, and we're very, very focused on keeping and optimizing surface contact area to weight ratio. So making sure that there's maximal amount of surface contact area between the shoe, the cleat, and the pedal itself. As that number goes up, the power transfer increases. Sure. The comfort increases because you're spreading the load over a larger area. You're less likely to get pain, hot spots. They just end up being more comfortable pedals in the long run. And so to be able to take that and trickle it down to a pedal that's under 100 grams at the top end is something that A, we're pretty proud of, and B, we really feel that separates us from some of our competitors. Our Keo Blade line of pedals, they come in at 700 millimeters squared surface area. Our competitors come in about 250 to 300. So we're offer a pedal that's got 2 to 3 times more surface contact area, which just leads to better power transfer and a more comfortable ride for the riders.
And speaking of the contact area, 3 different cleats?
3 different cleats. So we do a red cleat, which is a 9-degree float. We do a gray cleat, and that's the standard cleat that comes with everything. It's 4.5 degrees. And then we do a black cleat, which is a 0-degree float. So within those float options, we do 2 other versions. So we do a standard cleat, and then we do what's called a grip. The grip's got a bit of a rubber material on it. It makes it easier to walk around on. A little more friendly if you're on and off the bike frequently.
And then just lastly, what about this special little? Yeah,
and we've got one more sitting down here at the bottom of the range. It's our Exact pedal. It's our power meter pedal. So we partnered with SRM. So it's got SRM internals in it. It's built off the KO2 Max line. We had to build it off the KO2 Max line versus the Blade, just to be able to have enough space to get the power meter and the internals for that in on the spindle. We had to use the KO2 Max line versus the Blade line. These come in either single-sided or dual-sided. Dual-sided, it's 2 pedals. Both of them have the mechanism in them, or you can go single-sided, and then you just mate it up with with whatever your other pedal is, whether it's a blade or another QO2 Max, and you're all set and ready to go. Compatible, it's A&T Plus, so it's compatible with nearly every computer on the market that's ready to read power. So.
Okay. Hey everybody, thanks for checking in with Brad at the Look booth. When it comes to pedals and French frames, place to stop. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, fellas.
Hey everybody, now we're over at the Shimano booth with Meredith Miller, famous American racing star, right? It is true, and it's true. She'll say no, but it's true. She is now the road brand manager, no, marketing manager, sports marketing manager for Shimano.
Yeah.
And I figured the fact that we have like a famous racer here in the Shimano booth, and of course the new 12-speed Shimano kit, that Meredith's going to tell us a little bit about her, why she likes to ride bikes, what bikes mean to her, and maybe a little bit about 12-speed. Meredith, what do you like about riding bikes?
The feel of just being out on the open road or on a single track. I mean, I love all different bikes, not just road. That's where my career started for the first 10 years, and then went over to cross as well. Was going back and forth, and then finished more on the cross side. But I ride mountain bikes, I ride gravel bikes now, and it's just the community and the people that you meet. I mean, look at all these people here at Otter, and the number of people I've reconnected with that I was teammates with 10, 15 years ago. I see walking around. It's like a big family reunion for the industry. We get to come out and see each other. I'm excited that we get to do this again in 6 months.
See you in April, folks.
Exactly. So I just, and then also seeing the joy on people's faces riding bikes. So I was talking to somebody from Outride earlier, and talking about just getting youth and kids on bikes, and you see them all over here just ripping around, and it just it makes me so happy to see that. I'm like, God, I wish I was into bikes when I was their age. And
especially with the technology the kids have now. You see these like Groms on full suspension bikes with disc brakes.
I know, we were talking about that yesterday. They were like, some of these kids are on bikes that are more expensive than the adults have, but they are rippers, and they're just so good on their bikes, and they're just so free, and just they like to go play, on their bikes, which I think is awesome.
But we still play as adults on bikes too. And so just real quickly for the folks at home, what is the official pedigree of Meredith Miller in terms of your racing career? And
well, I don't know.
Yeah, you did.
I started racing in 1998, so a long time ago. In 2009, I was national road champion. I never got a national championship in cross, because we all know who dominated. Katie Compton dominating cross for so long. Was second and third, but never got on the podium. But did represent the U.S. at the World Championships 7 out of the 8 years that I raced cross.
Wow.
And then I guess somebody reminded me today that I was single speed national champion. I always kind of forget about that one. So I got to do that one the year after I was technically retired.
Right.
So we snagged that jersey.
So you have this great cross legacy. Just for the sake of it, now we have seen the comeuppance, of course, of gravel. How would you kind of compare or contrast gravel with cyclocross in terms of?
I think they're pretty. In a lot of ways, they're very similar because they're so community oriented. What drew me to cross in the first place was Cross Vegas, and I just seeing the number of people just scattered around the course, screaming and yelling and just having a really good time together was awesome. And I think you see that kind of atmosphere at a gravel race. Now, obviously, the gravel races are 100 miles more, whatever. So you don't have spectators out on the spread across the courses, but at the start finish, when I was at Steamboat Gravel earlier this year, trying to get from a 6-block, length across the expo took me probably 3 hours of just stopping and talk to everybody. And it's just, I don't know, of course everyone uses this word community right now, but I think it's true, and it just everybody is looking out for each other. It's you're bringing a lot of different people into the races now, or into the events. I shouldn't even necessarily say races because not everyone is there to race, right? And I think that's the cool part about gravel is that people can go do these like big epic rides. They're on the courses with the pros. They're riding the same course, and they get done and they can compare their times or whatever as they're having a beer with the pros. You know, so it's just this really cool feel of everyone sort of out there suffering or in it together.
Yeah. Now back in August, Meredith came out to West Coast to Malibu, California, when Shimano was coming out. They had a ride camp with Troy to introduce the new 12-speed Shimano, which is right here, the Dura-Ace and Ultegra. What is your favorite part about the new Dura-Ace 12-speed kit? And how's that, just quickly, how does it compare? I mean, when you think about the advances of technology, especially with Shimano versus 10 years ago.
Well, I was just talking to somebody who was on a 10-year-old bike, and his Dura-Ace actually still works, but still, of course, it was mechanical and all these things, and we're just like, oh my God, where are bikes going to go 20 years from now? How do you continue to build and expand on this that already works so well? But for me, with the 12-speed, what I noticed the most is the brakes, especially when I've gone back and forth from the 11-speed to the 12-speed. When I get on my 12-speed bike, I'm just like, oh yeah, this is it right here. I also appreciate some of the integration into the rear derailleur with the Junction A box, the charging, the D-fly, all of that being there. But I would say, first thing I would point out are the brakes. That has made a big difference.
So coincidentally, in our test we did with David and Troy, what Troy was saying, in terms of, because Troy was the guy who got to go to the ride camp, but he was saying, 12 speeds, we get extra gear, but for Troy as well, the brakes were like fundamentally the biggest step up for the new Shimano kit versus the previous stuff, which was already good, as we know. But yeah, it's just interesting you said that, because I know that our takeaway was the same thing. The brakes were just so responsive now.
Right, because it's like, okay, the new 12-speed shifts faster. There's these other things, but it already was so fast. Most of that's going to be imperceptible to the general public. So the one big standout I think most people are going to notice is the brakes. And the wheels. Actually, I mean, living in Boulder, Colorado, where we have a lot of climbing and descending, these C36s are just like the perfect wheel for just climbing. They climb so well, and then also ripping some fast descents.
Shallow wheels rule is my little. Anyways, I want to thank Meredith for spending 5 minutes with us, and thanks again for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers.
Thank you.
On to the next one. Thanks, guys.